Hello, my divinities. Welcome, welcome. Let's just prepare a little space here before we get started with today's collective. I just want to remind you guys how grateful I am. I think it's so freaking cute. Every time I look through the comments and I see all the support, not only those of you who take the time to tell me how the readings are resonating with you, or even if they don't, but you still want to show support and you just put a comment with emojis, or you just want to, not everybody has to share their story, right? Maybe the only way you can show support, because maybe what you're going through is very personal, you just want to put the emojis, all of that still counts. And so I want to remind my Patreon people how grateful I am for your support, how it means so much to me that you're here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with today's collective. Let's see, what is the energy? Let's move these up a little bit. What's the energy for today's collective? We start with seek your answers within. Oh, look at the bear, it's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna stop focusing on the character. Heed the messengers. Okay, interesting. Overall energy, reveal your truth. Well. Okay. So let's see, number 34. Reveal your truth. I'm just going to leave it down here. It says, when you were born, your soul shone bright. As you grew, you were taught of right and wrong. You were taught how to think, how to live, how to believe in a way that makes you fearful to say no. To disagree is to risk alienation from family and society. And so you hide your true thoughts and feelings behind a mask. That mask hides your light. Cast it aside. Embrace and live your truth and let your soul shine once more. Okay. Now number 36, which is this one, says, if you find yourself confused, your intuition and inner voice drowned out by the answers, wisdom, and advice of others, then it is time for you to step away. Withdraw to a place of solitude. Like the bear, it is time for you to hibernate, to go within and seek the void, and to embrace the silence that dwells within. Within that silence are the answers to your questions. And because they are answers born of your truths, they will be answers that move you forward instead of holding you still. Very good. And last but not least, number 16. Heed the messengers. It is easy to ignore the messengers and the signs they show you, especially when they bring a message you do not wish to hear. But now is not the time to ignore the messengers. Do not let your fear of change or discomfort silence their voices. It is time for you to stop procrastinating, to see and to hear the truth and do what is necessary. Heed the messenger, for the wisdom they offer is born of your own intuition and need. Interesting. Okay, so let's put these aside. And let's start today's collective. Let's see how these messages resonate. How does this connect with today's collective? How does this connect with today's collective? We start with the 6 of air. The child, which is a major arcana in this deck. The 6 of water. Should I leave it? Yeah, one more. Ooh. And the 5 of air. Ooh, these have similarities. Y'all see those masks coming off? Instead of wax off, wax on, wax off, it's mask on, mask off. Overall energy, the 7 of fire. Okay, now I've been choosing, honestly, it's just been happening intuitively, but I've noticed a pattern. I've noticed that when we're doing the longer collectives, where we're not doing the zodiac signs, the tarot that we're using as the main read is different than normal tarot. And so I'm going to be going through and reading the definitions of the cards, not because I don't know them, but because there's always more information that I feel like they want to bring forth, more than normal tarot could possibly encompass, which is why these are the tarots being selected, okay? So let's go ahead and read the Seven of Fire. So this one, the keywords with this one are divination, signs, heating, intuition. Oh, where have we heard that one before? Again, looking within, seeking answers, discovery, awareness, and trust. Key phrases: heed your intuition, a feeling of recognition, inexplicable coincidences, moments that repeat. Personal interpretation is crucial. Only you know the answer. Look beyond the surface, and then it says observe and be aware. Okay, so it says meaning. The Seven of Fire represents the development and use of one's intuition to see the way forward and predict possible outcomes. Intuition is that gut feeling. It is an instinctual or unconscious knowing that when you heed it can keep you safe from making mistakes and lead you to being in the right place at the right time. It is a feeling of recognition that we often ignore, but if we choose to heed, can have us moving through life in harmonious accord with our surroundings. In actively using and then trusting your intuition on a regular basis, you may find you observe more, and in turn, you learn more. You start to see and take notice of signs and messages along the way. You take notice of those little inexplicable coincidences and moments that keep repeating, and if you heed them, can take you on an adventure of discovery, revealing not only the truths you seek, but also your reason for being. Using and heeding your intuition can lead you to opportunities and experiences that offer the potential to both fulfill you and inspire others. However, to trust in one's intuition requires that you look within and determine what the message means to you personally. You can ask advice of another. You can seek guidance from another, but only you know your answers. Personal interpretation is key. Trusting in the knowledge that is stored within your unconscious mind is key. Third parties can offer insight, but they see and understand life through eyes that have been shaped and influenced by their own experiences, not yours. Only you know what something means for you specifically. Only you know if something is right for you. The Seven of Fire represents a need to actively develop or trust in your intuition and instincts at this time. Look around you, observe, speak to the cards on a regular basis, and honor the truths revealed by going where your intuition leads you. Now, I've mentioned this before, right? And so I love that it's coming up again because I feel like it's really bringing clarity to the fact that you need to trust yourself above anyone else. I can sit here and give you advice. I can give you perspective. I can try and expand your worldview. But overall, I don't know your specific situation unless I'm doing a personal reading. And even then, it will be influenced by the way I have lived and the experiences I have gone through. So there might be people out there where my advice would come across as toxic. For example, people who are very, very desirous of being a housewife, very desirous of just existing as a mother, or of being very close-knit with family and really wanting like a traditional, that I'm not that type. And so more often than not, I'm going to be real with you, I'm going to always preach independence, autonomy, being your own person, having your own identity. It's not that they are in the wrong or that I am in the wrong. It's just that we are different people, right? And so as long as people come into readings with me knowing that, then they'll be okay. Because then they'll know, okay, I get what she's saying here, but I still would like to do this, and that's fine. You have to trust yourself. So with the Six of Air, there is a sense of duality here. Let's see. Let's look at the Six of Air. Oh, I also wanted to mention the hibernating thing. I've been seeing where sometimes the readings will say you need time alone, and then other times the readings will say you need connection. I want to remind you guys that when we are encouraged to heal, when we're encouraged to hibernate, for example, it doesn't mean that you have to do that for months, because maybe you'll get the answer within days. That's up to you again. And maybe sometimes the readings contradict because they're not all for you. So either one, they seem to contradict because the advice is like, well, for this amount of time, you're supposed to do this, but then the other amount of time, you're supposed to do that. Or because one of the readings isn't for you. And maybe you're taking in readings that aren't meant for you. So let's look at the Six of Air. Okay. So this one, keywords are solutions, comparisons, compromise, open-mindedness, mindfulness, illumination, epiphany, and personal power. Key phrases: a time of research and investigation, look at and compare a range of options, weigh the pros and cons, be willing to compromise. Don't let rigidity hamper possible success. A moment of epiphany, step into your personal power, and do not discredit what others offer. So the meaning of this card says the Six of Air represents a solution born of compromise that lies somewhere in between the black and white, either or choices that are so often seen as the only options available. Now is a good time to contemplate and compare a range of different options in order to discover the best solution for one and all. Therefore, it is also time for research and investigation. As you consider the options, compare, take notes, weigh the pros and cons for each. There might be a need for compromises to be made, as sometimes, in order to achieve our goals and objectives, compromise is required. Now is not the time to prevent an outcome by being inflexible or taking a rigid stance. The Six of Air also represents that singular moment of revelation and illumination when the mind opens and at once understands the extent of the power we have over our lives. Suddenly you see potential in everything. You see how every experience and choice made by you and others has shaped you and your life and brought you to this moment. In turn, you also understand how every choice you make in the present will shape your future. In that moment of recognition, the mind changes in an instant, and so does life itself. The Six of Air is presenting you with the opportunity to act with mindfulness and awareness. From this moment onwards, choose to take responsibility for your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, understanding that even by taking a passive or inactive role, by doing nothing, or by allowing others to make decisions on your behalf, you're making a choice. Own it. The only drawback is that you will no longer be able to blame others for stealing your power if it was your choice to give it away. This is your moment to come of age and own your power. The Six of Air signifies an opportunity to empower and illuminate your life by opening your mind. Oh, I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute. Okay. We actually have the perfect opportunity to talk about this now, in the sense that I myself can be very much a type of person where it's like, it's either this or it's theirs. There's no in between. But honestly, there can be a compromise. There can be a meeting in the middle. And I want to use the example of what's going on right now with TikTok. TikTok was banned Saturday. We all thought it was a goner. And I guess my reading came through where it's a very quick turnaround. By Sunday, it was back online. But there's still some glitches because the app, if you delete it off your phone, because I have two phones and I deleted off of one phone and I forgot to delete it off of the other phone. And then I realized it was online because Sunday I started getting emails about TikTok notifications. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought TikTok was down. So I click on the notifications and it opened on the phone that still had the app. It opened the app and I was like, it's back? What the hell? So no. Sorry. First, when I clicked the email, it sent me to the website on the phone where the app had been deleted. And I realized that every time it said, do you want to open the app? And I would say yes, it would take me to the App Store, but TikTok is no longer showing up on the App Store for iTunes or Google Play. So I thought that was weird. And then I realized I had not deleted the app on the other phone. And that's where I started realizing that we were back online. But it was like a very, very quick turnaround. So I'm glad my prediction came true on that. But a lot of people were really upset because the notification that went out when it went down, I took a screenshot of it because I did think it was strange. And in the screenshot, it says, I don't know if it was on this phone or the one I'm actually using to record. Okay, it's on the phone I'm using to record, so it's not on here. But it was like basically thanking Donald Trump for, they're like, we're going to try, President Trump is trying to work things out with us. And then less than 24 hours later, it's back online and it's thanking President Trump for cooperating with them. And at first, I was upset. I was like, what the fuck? Did he sell out? Did the CEO of TikTok sell out? But so far, we haven't seen anything of that. A lot of people are making speculations. I did not see that in the reading at all. And so a new theory is coming into play. And I like that this card came up because I want to examine that theory. Somebody spoke up, he also being an Asian from Singapore, which is where the CEO of TikTok is from. They're not from mainland China, they're from Singapore. And he said, I just want to speak up as a fellow Singaporean and an Asian man. He said, sometimes we play the game, as in we will tell people what they want to hear just so that we can be at peace. We don't actually believe that. We don't actually support what they're saying, but we're like, yeah, bro. Yeah, totally, bro. Yeah, you're totally right. And behind doors, they're like, whatever, fuck that guy. And so he said, I have a feeling that CEO Shou Chu, which is the CEO of TikTok, he's playing the game. Now, he said, I could be wrong. He could have totally sold out. He's like, but I believe that he's kind of, letting Trump believe. I've mentioned it before. Trump loves getting his ass kissed, right? He's, if I remember correctly, he's a Leo rising. So he loves his ego. Like, oh, it's Mars is in the 12th house. He does not even know how much of ego he has. He may be playing that game just for long term to be able to hold on to the app. That doesn't mean he's going to sell it. That doesn't mean he's going to compromise his values, but he may appear to have done that just to be able to pacify the people who are trying to take over his company. And I think that this is something that's coming into the collective consciousness, the ability to let other people make assumptions, even if you may look like you're doing something, because I've noticed that it shows up in different ways. Like I'm watching a China, you mean me and my Asian dramas. I love Chinese and Korean dramas. But anyways, I'm watching a Chinese drama right now where this person is helped by an official. And that official, she realizes that the official is a corrupt official until she gets to know him and she realizes that's just a front. In reality, he's doing that to be able to infiltrate the highest ranks. And in his nighttime, he's like going around getting, destroying them. But he's doing so silently. He does so even if people judge him, spit on him, try to murder him because they think he's a corrupt official. He is not a corrupt official. So there's something in the air about that. There's something, this is really coming into the collective consciousness right now about you don't be rigid. Like, I think a lot of people expected Shou Chu to tell Trump to fuck off, and that's their ideal, right? That would be more fun for them. If he was just like, never, I will never compromise, blah, blah, blah. But he would just destroy not only his business, but we would not have the opportunity to have TikTok. So I think there's something here about that. Because I've noticed that theme coming up at least in my days recently, over and over. And this just confirmed it. Like there's room for being open-minded, and just because you don't agree with something or just because you don't like something doesn't mean you have to be really rigid and be like, it's a yes or a no. It's a this or a that. Give room for flexibility. Okay. Now let's look at the child, because I feel like I took a long time explaining this. Let's look at the child. And I think that to do something like that, though, requires a massive amount of self-assuredness. Because imagine having everybody think that you are a piece of shit when in reality you're not. but you're holding on to your ideals and your beliefs a lot stronger than, how people perceive you. That takes a lot, like a lot. I was I was trying to think of another word, but yeah, it takes a lot of conviction to be able to do that. I feel like it takes more conviction to do that than to be the person who's always like, I will not settle, that type of thing. So let's see. The child, keywords are new beginnings, innocence, magic, divine love, trust, hope, forgiveness, awareness, potential, anticipation, and dependency. Key phrases: a new beginning, see your potential, heal emotional and psychological wounds, time to play and laugh, acknowledge your successes, delight in the moment, believe in magic, laughter heals, turn dreams into reality, forgive the past, reconnect with innocent pleasures and put doubt aside. So the meaning: the child stands confident, taking innocent joy and delight in her connection with the world in which she dwells. She is untouched by fear and full of hope and trust. Despite any hardship, struggle, and harm she has faced, she continues to see only beauty through eyes bright with wonder. She sees the good in all. She is both magic and magical, an innocent soul who believes in happily ever after. Okay, something else that just came through with that, guys. Something that I always thought was very interesting. Hold on. My heated blanket was getting caught in my foot. Is that people are very, I've noticed that the at least here in the United States, I don't know everywhere else, but here in the United States, I've noticed that the general public is quite unforgiving. If somebody made a mistake when they were 20, if they're in their 40s, they still don't let that person live that mistake down. And I think that here it matters because, like, if there was somebody who had a really rough past, like Eminem, I love Eminem as a rapper. I think he's the first rapper I ever actually listened to before, because I didn't relate to any of the other type of rap before he came into the scenario. Then when he came into the scenario, his rap was really different than other people's, and I connected with it. And then I started being more open to it. But his past is not the best past. Like, when he first came onto the scene, he was not in a great place, He was trying to overcome a lot of trauma. And one of my favorite things about him is that he did overcome a lot of trauma. He grew, became a better person, but a lot of people don't let him live down his past. And they just look at him like, no, he did that, so therefore he is always a piece of shit. And I think that when we do that, it's really coming from a place of, it lets me know they must have had somebody do those things to them. So Eminem was, in his songs, you'll hear where he'll say he drank a lot, he would do drugs, he would, fight physically, have physical altercations with his spouse, and I don't know if other people as well. So people who went through domestic violence might be extremely triggered by his presence because they may look at him like, no, he's just a piece of shit, but they're projecting a lot of what they went through with possibly their ex or their parent. And so even though now he is sober, he is, clean, he is a focused father, they won't let him live down his past because that triggers them. Does that make sense? So with the child, it's like, where are we at? Where is it coming from? Where's the energy coming from of being unable to be flexible? Is it because our inner child is triggered, or are we looking at the world really from a place of innocence and hope and, just assuming that everybody has something good in them? Where's that coming from? Does that make sense? All right, let's look at the Six of Water. Okay, so this one is kindness, concern, sympathy, compassion, understanding, forgiveness, love, ideals. Key phrases: the ideal of kindness and compassion, see all that is good and pure in humanity, strive to be better, embrace healthy boundaries, accept that you will falter, overcome obstacles with gentle determination, do not meet aggression with aggression, Be kind and walk away. Meaning, the Six of Waters is the epitome of kindness and concern. She represents all that is good and pure within humanity and an ideal that many strive to meet. She is kind, but not to a fault. She displays concern and care, but does so with a level of emotional detachment. She is sympathetic, compassionate, and giving, but not to the extent that she leaves nothing for herself. She is understanding and aware that we all think, believe, and see life in a unique way, and that this determines how we behave and respond to others. She is forgiving, but forgives because she knows the act sets her free and enables her to move forward without being weighed down by past experiences. She is a gentle soul who overcomes all obstacles with a determination that is free of any aggression or intent to do harm. She is the peaceful warrior who wins all with a gentle touch or smile, a kind word, and a compassionate, generous nature. Does she represent an impossible ideal? Do you strive to be like her and find yourself incapable of behaving this way all the time? The Six of Water comes to tell you to just be you. Show compassion. Be empathic, understanding, and aware of all that makes us different. Be generous, but remember to keep healthy boundaries in place. Most importantly, be kind to yourself when you don't live up to your own, sometimes impossible ideals. To be the peaceful warrior, you have to be as kind and generous to yourself as you are to others. And there you go. I mean, that's one of my favorite cards in this deck. So I don't really think that there's much to add there, except that the fact that I was watching a show once. Yes, it was a Korean drama. And it was like highlighting the issue where people who used to be gangsters were reforming themselves, right? There was this specific man who every time there was a gangster who went to prison, when they got out, he was waiting for them. And he would literally, if their ex-mafia boss was trying to recruit them, he would literally fight that person because he used to have a really big criminal organization, so people are scared of him. And he'll fight that person and he'll recruit the new person, but he'll put them to work. He makes an honest man out of them. He doesn't want to be a mafia boss anymore. And the ugliness that a lot of those people faced, because a lot of people did not want to forgive them their past. Once they knew that once upon a time they were convicted felons and they had gone to prison, and they were just like very mean and ugly to them because they look at them like the scum of society. And that's not true. You know, that is just how their trauma played out in this lifetime. So I'm not saying that you should just go around and be a bleeding heart for everybody, because that's exactly what this card is about. It's about being able to show kindness and compassion without sacrificing yourself. And I'm going to give you an example. The same drama where the corrupt officials there. So that girl that got saved by him, she obviously has a lot of compassion for people who are going through a lot of issues. And she helped this woman who her husband was very physically abusive with her. She was about to be sold as a slave, and because she felt bad for her, she freed her. She gave her freedom. She bought the contract and then gave her freedom. But because I feel like she was overly kind, because she brought her into her home. She made her a business partner. And I think that she was really trying to give her a sense of, you can be by yourself. You can be self-sustaining. I'll teach you how. But to me, that went too far. I would never, I don't know if it's because I'm a Taurus moon. I would never give somebody just half of my business if they hadn't put in the work for that, if that was not their vision either. Like, if you want to hire someone and pay them really good wages and give them days off, that's great. But making her a business partner when that was not her vision, I thought that was a mistake. And it did eventually prove to bite her in the ass, because that woman wasn't ready for that. So it's about, you've got to, it's okay to help people, but don't throw yourself under the bus just to be able to help people. Like, be yourself. That might be what the mask is about. Like, don't sit here trying to force yourself to be overly kind, and do what you can. Do what you can, and then, be flexible with yourself. Let's look at the Five of Air. I'm sorry, I feel like I've talked a lot. But these cards are I love these cards because they are very, very good at getting you to think about different, perspectives. So the Five of Air represents illusion, reality, separation, self-sabotage, self-deception, criticism, conditioning, and healing. Key phrases: a conflict between reality and belief, a time for honesty, let go of illusion and pretense, face a painful reality, you are not alone. Advice and constructive criticism are not a personal attack. Drop the mask, reveal your true self, forgive others for wearing their masks. So what is the meaning? The Five of Air represents a conflict between what is real and what is believed. It addresses the need for honesty and the courage to let go of a self-deception that is being held on to in order to hide and protect from a painful reality. This painful reality may be one that we choose to deny, but even so, its influence can still create dissonance in our lives and work in a corrosive manner that gives rise to conflicted thoughts, a desire to avoid and procrastinate, and eventual self-sabotage of creative endeavors. It can also manifest in a desire to withdraw and separate ourselves from those who love us. Ooh, this is perfect. The symptom, because I'll tell you in a minute. The symptoms to look for are low self-esteem, a disparaging inner voice, and an inability to handle criticism as it only serves to reinforce a low opinion that is already held. Even simple advice and constructive criticism that are offered to help improve or fix something that is in need of further work is perceived to be an attack and is responded to with hurt or anger. When this happens repeatedly, others may become reluctant to speak up even when there is a real and genuine need. This reluctance is noticed and feeds the anxiety. As a result of this inability to take advice of any kind and see it for what it is, care and love, conflict, mistakes, and outright failure become common occurrences, which in turn make us believe even more that we will never succeed. Behind the mask, we fall victim to self-recrimination, judgment, and blame, and criticize ourselves in a manner that is neither objective nor constructive. And yet, despite everything, we try to put on a brave face and continue to smile, but it is a mask. The smile is the lie that hides disappointments, regrets, guilt, and a pain that we attempt to deny because we have been conditioned to suppress and repress our true thoughts and feelings. If the Five of Air card appears in your reading, it is in essence a gentle intervention. Remove the mask and the blindfold from your eyes. Let go of the lie that all is okay and that you are happy, and allow yourself to see that you need to address the thoughts and beliefs that have you thinking poorly of yourself. It is time for you to see and face the inner demons that have you believing that you are not worthy or deserving of success or happiness. Drop the mask and show your true self, wounds and all. Look at the damaging thoughts and beliefs, address their source, and give yourself an opportunity to heal. Allow others to help you. You are not alone, and you are loved. Understand that the advice and constructive criticism others offer is not meant to limit and wound, but to help you heal and grow. So, I love this because it's a reminder. Remember that example I just gave about somebody being overly kind, right? Doing a little too much for someone else. That person, because their whole life they had been raised, and again, it's about looking at what's beyond that. I got really angry when this happened, but I had to slow down. Like my heart, my human self got very angry because I've been through that. I've had people do that to me, and I'm explaining what it was. But my healer self was like, yeah, but look at where she came from and what her pattern was. So the woman who had, been this close to being sold as a slave, I mean, she was sold as a slave. So her family was very abusive. She was taught to basically be a servant to her husband. That's what she had been trained to do because her father was the same way with her mother. She was trained to take a lot of abuse. So she was already she had a broken spirit, basically. And so when she was saved, she started coming back to life, but she was always like, I want to get married. I want to get married. I want to get married. Even though she had just gotten divorced from that beast who had been abusing her constantly, she still wanted to go back. And she centered her life around a partner. Her sense of identity was very connected to being married and being a mother because that's all she knew. So when that man realized that now she was wealthy and she had a business, he came back into her life And even though the person that helped her escape him kept telling him, go away, she doesn't want you, she's good now, go away, she started hiding from her that she started meeting up with him. She started sleeping with him again. He would promise her that now he was this and now he was different, and blah, 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 blah. She went and married him in secret. She did not want to share what was going on because she knew that the woman that helped her escape would not approve of the situation. But what she didn't realize was that man obviously had not changed, because somebody like that is not going to change in a matter of months. And that was like months after. For someone like that to change, that takes years. It takes heavy, heavy work. It doesn't just, oh, I'm so sorry now, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to do that. So it ended up causing a betrayal, because what he wanted was the business. So he arranged things so that the person that helped her leave him ended up being a slave herself, so that he could take over the business, because he remarried the person he had been abusing, and she was the partner in the business. So at first I got really angry. When I saw that, I was like, no. But it is a drama. And I chilled after a while. So this is like, if we are in a place of chaos mentally, or if we're in a place of like isolating ourselves from other people, most of the time it's because we know that we're doing something that is usually going to bring us harm, and the people who love us are not going to be okay with that. Or it's because we have a lot of conflicting information inside of our head, and we're really anxious, but we don't actually want answers. What we want is, we want to hear what we want to hear. And so we stick to something that we know is against our own good. So we have all these conflicting emotions inside of us, but we don't examine why. Why am I sticking to this? Why am I holding on to this? In her case, in the drama, why didn't she ever ask herself, why am I so desperate to get a man? Like, why is it that I am so sensitive to not having a partner? Why is it that I'm willing to accept somebody that treated me worse than a dog just to have a husband again? You know, it's like, if we would look at those things, even if it hurts to start examining it, we would have a much better experience in life, actually. So let's see. Clarify the Six of Air. That's a lot. I've talked for a long time. Oh, well. Clarify Six of Air. King of Cups. Clarify Six of Air. Queen of Wands, Eight of Swords, Seven of Wands. Okay, so there's a Queen of Wands here who maybe was really tied up for a while, really struggling about what to do or how to do something, but she finally got to the point where she's protecting herself. She's protecting her peace, her family. So she walked away from something or someone, because we have the King of Cups showing up. Now, this does not have to be romantic, because of the Three of Pentacles, this could be somebody she was working with, somebody she was building a friendship with. But I'm not sure who this message is for, because I feel like she already disconnected. So this may be for the king. The king may be the person that's going within, and maybe they were the ones in a very rigid place. And yet, with the Star, like they're examining themselves. They're really, this King of Cups is not sitting on a throne. If you notice, he's sitting in water, so half of his feet are like dipped in the water. So this is like completely immersed in emotions. Even his crown is made out of water. So it could be that this king is, they stopped seeing things from a black and white perspective. They're revealing to themselves, what is it that I've been dishonest with myself about? Like, what is it that I haven't really been wanting to accept about this entire situation? Clarify the Child, because with the way the cards are showing up, I feel like the Queen of Wands was very kind but not to the point of self-sacrifice. And they might have initially seen it as like, oh, you finally revealed yourself, right? You're not as good as you say you are. But in reality, now they may be examining things and realizing, maybe that was just my perception. Maybe especially if they don't understand boundaries. When you set boundaries with people who want you to give unconditionally to them, they may look at it, especially any type of criticism that you offer or any type of advice that you offer, they're going to look at it like, how dare you? You're supposed to be good to me. Clarify the child. Two of Swords, clarify the child. Ten of Cups, clarify the child. Strength. Seven of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Four. Look, there's healing here. There is healing here because I think that this person might have been a knight. When they approached this queen, they might have been a Knight of Cups. They might have been a little bit of a fuckboy. And because she was kind to them, because I don't see this being a love connection. I think that they might have misinterpreted her kindness as like, oh, she's into me. She totally wants me. But they realized, no, she's got really strong boundaries. So it might have confused them initially because this is somebody who may only know either one, you're strong and you're a bully, or two, you are weak, but you're sweet. And they had never met somebody possibly who embodied the kindness and sweetness, but still having strength. And so it set this person on a healing journey because they were like, I need to understand this shit. Because this is, especially with the Six of Cups and the child here, I feel like that Queen of Wands came from this energy of treating them with kindness because they see the wound behind their actions, right? But that doesn't mean that they're romantically interested in this person. They just look at it like, you know, you might not be a romantic interest of mine, but we can be friends. And so with the Two of Swords, I don't know if this was the queen or if this was the king or both, where there was like, well, is this someone that I can open up to? Is this someone I can be friends with or not? Is this someone that can be a part of my soul tribe or am I wrong? But with the Strength card here, again, it's like this queen was coming from a very balanced place. Half a very primal, powerful energy, and the other half very human, very kind, softness. And I think this has a lot to do with the fact that this queen, whether male or female, doesn't matter, right? Because we have a male here, has really worked on the roots, has really worked on their history. And so when they come from a specific place of saying something, it's coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of, I want you to be the best version of yourself. And maybe for a while, because they were a knight, you know, not a king, it took them a while to get that. Clarify Six of Cups or Six of Water. Six of Wands, clarify Six of Water. Page of Wands. Wow, Temperance. again, okay, so to top it all off, there's some sort of duality here. Either this king is somebody who's famous, and so they may be very used to getting a lot of attention, and they don't know how to tap into that part of them that shows humility. They only know either you're on top or you're on the bottom. Either you're the person that's in power or you're the disempowered one. Or the queen is the one that has a level of, you see all the crowds around her, like there's people around her, and they might have interpreted her behavior as like she's a little bit of attention whore, attention seeker. But they realize that there's this duality to this person where they may either be very sought out and yet have a lot of humility to them, or they have a really high position, but they have the heart of a commoner, you know, somebody who connects with everybody. They don't see themselves as superior to anybody else. So there's some sort of duality about that. I believe it might have been the queen because Temperance is balance. Let's see. Tell me about the Five of Swords. Oh, look at this. Not only did while ago we get the Queen of Wands, now we got the Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. Clarify the Five of Swords. And the Eight of Cups. Ace of Pentacles, Four of Wands, oh yeah, Three of Swords, damn. So, nowhere here am I seeing that this is a romantic connection, but doesn't mean it couldn't be. I just feel like if they ever got reprimanded by this queen, like if she ever called them out for behavior, even if it was done in a very gentle way, because we get the two gentlest queens here, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. This is feminine on top of feminine energy. The more masculine queens are air and fire. Earth and water are the most feminine on top of feminine energy, because the queen is already feminine and then it's a feminine element. Anytime that they would correct this person's behavior or try and give them advice, it came from a very, very soft, loving, but honest place. So it could have been that the person, and this could be the other way around. It could be that the king was the one offering advice. Somebody here was doing it with the Five of Swords, though. The other person was very reactive. Like, how dare you try to, like, when they hear advice, they think of it like you're looking down on me. You must think that I'm weak, or you must think that I'm easy to control. You must, like, there's a lot of assumptions being made here. So somebody walked away. Either the queen walked away from the king or the king walked away from the queen. One of the two. And now someone is looking back saying, you know, maybe I overreacted. Maybe that was not deserved. My reaction was not deserved, because I know that that person was coming from a place of love, was coming from a place of caring about my well-being. So there may be see, this doesn't feel like romance though. This feels like friendship. This could be a business offer. Let's see. Because even as a tarot reader, like, I've had people who tell me off about the reading and they're like, that wasn't true, you're wrong, blah, blah. And I can tell that obviously it affected them. And obviously it did connect with them, even if they don't want to admit it. Later on, they'll come back and say, I'm so sorry, you're right. So something about that is present here. I just realized we're doing the part 1, part 2. I'm gonna stop part 1 here. Got almost a whole hour out of it. I will see you, if you're on Patreon, I will see you on part 2, and we will look into this further. Okay. So if you want to contribute and help my little algorithm here, if you want to comment how this resonated with you, drop it down in the comments below. And if you would rather keep that private, but you still want to contribute, then drop the emojis that are in the title. Okay. Love you guys. Bye-bye.